Welcome to tonight's recap of Dancing with the Stars.
Oh boy, what an exciting night tonight. It was Pitbull, aka Voldemort, in the house.
They kept saying his real name, but I forgot what it was.
Armando Christian Perez.
Wow!
That's right.
Yeah, so this was a very special episode. They did a lot of numbers to Pitbull songs or some of Pitbull's favorites.
Yeah. And Leah Remini was back to fill in for Erin Andrews, who's at the World Series. She's at the series.
She's at the series.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah. So I thought that first number was great.
The Pitbull performed with the pro ladies. Then the guys joined in.
It was great.
It was sexy. It was fast. It was Latin. It was great. You know, had the Latin beat and everything.
All right.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, so this is an elimination show.
It is.
It's been 2 weeks
they didn't eliminate
since they
anyone
had an
last
elimination.
Week. Let's dive
really
right
constipated.
in
there. All right, so Jonathan and Allison are up first, and Horror, they're in jeopardy.
Well,
in jeopardy?
With back-to-back weeks of all sixes.
Yeah.
So their dance this week was a jazz number. And it was a lot of fun. It was like a Men in Black theme.
It had its moments. It seemed more of like a hip-hop to me.
Well, I mean, on this show, jazz is really like...
a broad category.
Whatever you want. That's not ballroom.
There was a cool lift in there. Mm-hmm. They scored a 32. So it was good for them.
Yeah, it was very sharp. I thought he worked really hard this week.
He did.
And it showed.
Leah, however, was kind of a little bitchy. She was like...
She had some really funny moments, but I was kind of like...
crossing the line a little bit there.
Made fun of his eyes.
At least wait till he walks away, but you did it right in front of him.
And then she was like, everyone do the eyes. Everyone join in.
Don't make me look like the only idiot on the dance floor.
Well, you know what was really fun? Seeing Tony performing in between numbers in the shirt from his audition video.
It's like a big old pair of underwear made into a shirt.
It got like
asymmetrical.
He got in a fight with Wolverine.
Yeah.
A ballroom fight.
Tony's the best. I have to say he's one of my favorite dancers on the show.
Ever.
Yeah, forever.
Okay.
And ever.
So next up, Janelle and Val.
Who are also in jeopardy.
What? Doesn't necessarily mean they're in the bottom. Don't forget that.
Anyway, Val is feeling a little bit jealous because the show told him to be.
Well, this is the week after the switch up, so we saw a lot of fallout from that with all the couples.
Well, it's also the week after she broke up with her boyfriend.
So was he jealous of Artem last week? Who knows? They kind of had them talk about their relationship. They're like, we can't describe it in words, blah, blah, blah.
Let's show you. No, don't.
So they did a samba this week.
It was very difficult choreography.
That choreography was great, and it looked very difficult, yeah.
Did she rip her dress? They didn't mention it, but it sure did look like I saw some daylight happening there.
I don't know, I missed it.
But anyway, it was very nice dance.
I thought it was really good. It was missing, you know, some of the really nitpicky, like, technical elements, but I thought they did a great job.
It's a celebrity show. It's all a part of the show, baby.
Well, Pitbull said he was not feeling the passion between the two of them.
Pitbull said he didn't know nothing about dance, but he knows a lot about passion.
I'm really surprised that he didn't see it, because these two are like magnets.
Yeah. Well, Pitbull pulled out a 7. I was pretty shocked.
He had a Jessie J moment.
Yeah. So they ended up with a 33, which wasn't horrible.
I was surprised, though. I thought this was going to be 9s across the board.
Yeah. All right, Tommy and Peta.
Foxtrot.
He's a little comatose, so he needs to go and rejuvenate himself.
Okay, so I'm not even kidding. As we were watching the show...
Yes, it's true. This is all true.
This is so true. I saw them walking in the desert, and I immediately had flashbacks
to Arrested Development?
Yeah. And I was like, Peter doesn't want to go in the sweat lodge. And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what we need? The sweat lodge. And I was just like, ah!
Oh my God, they were sweating up a storm too.
Yeah.
You know, people die in there. are. They do.
Seriously.
All right, so this dance, well, first of all,
you know,
he hallucinated to Cloris Leachman in the desert.
Cloris, we miss you.
She always has to be so dirty.
She was dirty.
I love her.
Raunchy. All right,
Randy.
so let's talk about their dance.
A lot of it was out of hold, which
they had a lot
good
of side-by-side stuff.
Because he doesn't do well out of hold.
I have to agree with Bruno. Yeah, he looked much better in hold. I think PETA was backleading a bit.
He's like a baby on a stick. I mean, he's got to be moved around the floor.
Yeah, he seemed like he was a little bit behind on the side-by-side stuff because he would like look over and see what the next step was.
All of the steps he remembered, he attempted. And what he didn't remember, I'm sure she shouted to him. You know how they show the actual microphone usually on the results show?
She's like, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on, you bastard. No,
Okay, well,
she wouldn't say that.
It actually, I think, was his best dance.
I think so too.
Far.
But best line of the night was "Box of Sweat" from Julianne Hough.
Yeah.
Wow, that box of
right
sweat
next to the boxed
really was
wine.
great. Yeah, delicious.
All right, so they ended up with a 28. I thought that was pretty fair.
Oh yeah, wasn't that their highest score yet? Could have been.
It could have. Actually, I don't know about that.
I
Didn't they have that 1 week where they got like 8s or something?
Where everyone was hallucinating?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Box
Maybe they
of
were
sweat.
smoking too much.
All right, let's move on and talk about Antonio and Cheryl.
They had a salsa.
So they had a very difficult week too, emotionally. Cheryl was dealing with some family issues. Her father was in the hospital.
In Thailand, that's tough.
That is really tough.
So they whipped together a pretty decent dance, though.
I thought the choreography was fun, and I agree with the judges. It had a nice vibe with the
they had a little group going, like
the
a
troupe
group
dancers
of 6.
in there.
Yeah, but his hips, honey, you got to work on those hips. For a sexy man like you, sex symbol, underwear model, vampire lookalike, you've got to work those hips a little bit more.
It seems like he just doesn't understand the mechanics of like how you would make your hips move correctly.
Did he have his hips replaced with broken hips?
Oh.
Because
so
they were
sad.
kind of fused together.
I think he just doesn't understand the mechanics, like I said. That
Second best line of the night. Julianne, not
No.
Julianne, Carrie Ann, keep their nose to the prize.
Does it smell?
It's either keep your nose to the grindstone, yeah, or eye on the prize.
Box of sweat. Okay,
28.
they got a 28.
That's why that was only number 2. Sadie and Mark. Mark's got to go delicately with Sadie because
It's Rumba week for them.
she's underage.
She's like, oh, I can't do a rumba.
Yeah. She's only 17 years old.
Mark's partners never want to rumba with him.
He's too sexy. He's creepy. I mean, come on.
Creepy.
He's very intense. And for somebody who's not a sex pot, not even dancing at school, this is really big business.
I don't think Mark was the problem. I think she was just really anxious about the style itself.
Well,
So he had to.
he was very considerate, I have to say.
He had to really work around some things, make that choreography very sweet, not too sexy.
Not sexy at all. But she was very stiff during the dance, I think.
It's okay.
In the beginning,
So
anyway.
rumba, the hip action is very important, and I have to say, her hips were kind of like Antonio's. It's like she wasn't using them correctly.
She ain't never used them before. She was a hip virgin.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave that aside. Even
had
without
some
the hip action,
exceptional
though,
moments.
it had some really, really nice moments, and I thought overall the routine was very sweet.
It was appropriate.
Yes,
He did a good job.
I thought it was really
choreographing
romantic. It doesn't have to be like a dirty
Yeah,
burlesque.
no, of course not. And I
It was
think
very romantic.
people was a little out of control though with the 10.
He really enjoyed it.
35 for them.
Yay! Okay, 35.
Leah and Artem up next with a salsa. There was some misstepping in here that really threw the whole routine off.
They wanted to make this routine very competitive because they're right up. They have a chance. They're right up there with like Alfonso and all them. So Artem is really pushing Leah,
Yeah.
and this routine was kind of a disappointment.
Shoulders.
Shoulders were way up.
The lift was a little constipated. It kind of stalled out a little bit, which, further put the timing off.
It seemed like there were a lot of missteps in there, which sucks because I really do like Leah and Artem.
I do too.
I was hoping for better, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
No. 32. Just wasn't their week. If they make it into the finals, this is probably one of the dances that they will revisit.
They'd redo.
I would think.
I could see that.
All right, Michael and Emma in Jeopardy. Shocker.
Right. So Michael went to Talladega this week and
With
he brought
Emma.
Emma along. Well, he was racing. He wasn't just there. He was racing.
Right. So that was cool that she gets to see that side of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just a dance duh.
We were Cal Naughton Jr. and Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake. All right, so they did an Argentine tango, which is officially my favorite dance on the show.
This one had a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
They had an acoustic version of, I think it's a Neo song.
I really liked it.
I really liked the song, but I felt like it didn't really work for tango.
With what they had to work with, I thought they did a really good job.
I think, for him, I thought it was pretty good.
He made the lifts look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of hard to do if you don't know what you're doing. Because he's not some, big, strong guy.
He's got to keep those arms up at all times.
Exactly. It wasn't horrible. And the judges recognized that. It might have been his best dance yet.
I don't think it was horrible. I just had a hard time thinking of it as an Argentine tango.
All right.
I had a Len moment.
Think of it as a neo-Argentine tango.
All right, well, they ended up with a 30.
Pretty respectable. All right, Bethany and Derek.
They had a busy week.
She had to go to Australia for a YouTube event.
That's a long flight.
It certainly is. I think it's 14 hours each way. Or
Something
more.
like that.
Or more.
Maybe 15 or 16.
Might be more.
So they had a tango this week, and they did not have much time to practice.
7 hours.
Ah!
7 hours. So the choreography was a little bit boring. I guess they didn't have, he couldn't put anything really good in there because they really didn't have that much time to learn it.
I think that lighting really hit a lot.
It did. Her posture wasn't always great. In my mind, I was always thinking she was back and her legs were bent, but then she would fall out of it.
I felt like she was bending from her lower back, and you don't want to do that.
No, and I envisioned him saying, back, get back.
Could be.
And then she would go back again.
I mean, I thought overall it was pretty good.
She kind of slipped, too. But you know what? Her skirt was really long. She
I will
slipped on her
say,
skirt.
I thought she really captured the character of the dance. I think she really pulled that off.
Well, I thought the judges were a little bit too kind with 9s across the board.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have given that a 9, but...
Especially when Janelle and Val, I thought they had a better performance, but that's just this show.
Right, so just to recap, 36. Moving on, last but not least, it's Alfonso!
All right. He unfortunately pulled his groin when he was doing that fantastic Carlton.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. He Carlton too hard.
Is that even possible? You are Carlton.
Yes, it is.
All right, well, he's old Carlton.
Well, he pulled his groin, so he's working with that.
She hurt her back a couple of hours before the performance.
Ah!
She looked like she was in a lot of pain. They must have given her some fantastic shot.
Could be, yeah.
They looked fantastic tonight.
They did. They did their salsa. It was red hot, amazing.
Oh, awesome. And he had some crazy ass footwork.
It was awesome. It was probably one of my favorites of the whole season so far.
Stop the show. Does he not look fabulous now?
Yeah, it looks like he dropped a few,
He
too.
dropped a few LBs, and he is looking like he is in his prime, honey.
All right, so I thought for sure this was going to be all 10s. Perfect 40. Julianne!
Thanks for nothing. 9? Really? That was so lame. So they still had the highest score, but it should have been a 40.
Well, let's get down to business because somebody's going home tonight.
Uh-oh. So it's either Michael and Emma, Jonathan and Allison, or Janelle and Val.
So we find out Michael and Emma are safe.
There was a collective gasp. And out of Jonathan and Allison and Janelle and Val, come on. Really?
Yeah. So this was the end of the road for Jonathan and Allison.
He won't have to pop his eyes out
Oh.
anymore.
I'm kind of sad to see him go because he has a really fun personality.
I loved his personality, and I loved the fact that he was doing it for his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Allison, it was her first season.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of her because I thought she was really fresh.
Well, I think it'll be
she brought
fun
a lot to the show.
to see her
Do
with
the
troupe and
aside
everything.
dances.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comments.
Who are your favorites? Who's in trouble?
Who's going home next week?
Oh, and what'd you guys think of Leah Remini as the co-host?
Yes.
I thought she did a pretty good job.
I thought she did okay.
I really liked her
The one
vibe.
thing with Jonathan kind of crossed the line, but
Did she curse at one point? I feel like somebody was
did. There was
I don't know.
there was a
the Leah sandwich thing.
The Leah yeah. Actually, it was a Val sandwich. I thought not a Val. Artem sandwich.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
2 pieces of Leah bread.
Okay. Oh, right.
Right.
Got it.
Okay.
Till next time.
Much love.
2, 1.